Good morning, everyone. This is Thor Young with Bear Bull Trader, and I'd like to share a recap for you on my DKS trade this morning. I've been talking in my last few recaps a lot about how you can make a pre-market plan to help you know what you want to do when you're going long. And that's why the pre-market show with Carlos, Norm, and those guys is extremely important, because they go through and they help you determine your levels, where you need to go. So if you haven't had the chance to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you get notified when they go live, take a second and do that now. The reason why I think that's super important is because without those fundamental levels and really seeing what's going on, it's a lot harder to make decisions on what to do with your day-to-day. So here's what I've got going on DKS. So DKS, the main level that we had picked out from the daily chart was this level, because DKS on some really good news was just gapped up crazy. So we couldn't go off of a lot on the daily, right? Because, what are you going to do? We're just gapping, So pull back out here, nothing at all that we can really use on the daily. So when you don't have the daily, what you need to do is I pulled out and actually looked at the pre-market levels, okay? So we have the pre-market high, we had this pre-market pivot here, we had this pre-market level here, which let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see here in the pre-market we had touches coming up to here where it couldn't quite make it through here as it pushed down. Had some big out of line prints there. Then it pulled up here but couldn't get over 44.71, and then came down here and held VWAP. That was 44.21. So I was really interested in DKS from that perspective, and now you can see kind of where all my lines fell out. So what I wanted to do on DKS, first of all, DKS had good news. So we had our strong catalyst, which was something I was really looking for. And then DKS, which I'm still holding a position in right now as it moves up, DKS also had a really nice level too. There were a few bids, but the bids really weren't coming in very well pre-market, so pretty much everything looked strong to the top side. There were bids coming in, but the bid volume that was coming in at the price, so they weren't really forcing the ask to come down too much. So what happened is I saw the market open at 9:30. I waited a moment to see if DKS was going to break one way or the other, and then I saw some really large prints come out, some large buys, and then I also saw some large level 2s come out. So I went ahead and took my long position and got rewarded with a really fast pop up, real quick up to 44.57. So started off great. I took a couple of real solid partials to stop, especially with the quick movement. But it pulled right back down, and then I saw the bid start to finally load up, so I jumped out. It came down, wicked, came up here, held, so I thought we were going to break back up from there, so I got back long in my position. Stop out was going to be the bottom of 43.75, but it actually wicked really fast, and I took a little slippage there, so my out wasn't until 43.70. Took an extra 5 cents on slippage there that I wasn't too happy about, but luckily with this big trade in here, I was already up about 150 just on this trade. And with the slip, I lost about 50. I was only hoping to lose a little less, but I lost a little over 50. So basically down to $100. So it came down here. Stopped out. You can see where my stop out is, this little red, it's hidden by my long. So anyway, it came down here. Now, we use risk management because you just can't tell what's going on. And all the time you stop out and then you say, oh, well, it didn't do what I wanted to do, so I couldn't get back in. And for me, stopping out is about risk management, not about saying a trade is successful or not successful, right? Because I just can't hold any longer past this level before my risk starts to become outside of what I'm willing to risk on a trade. So rather than wait and hold that extra risk and then hopefully it'll get back up and then I'll get positive gains, it's easier for me to stop out, which is what happened here, stopped out, and then I got back in when it held 43.50. Now 43.50, remember from the pre-market, was this pre-market low that it would never break through starting at about 8 o'clock in the morning. So it never could break through that pre-market low. So once it held that and didn't make it to that pre-market, if it had touched 43.50, I wouldn't have went long on it. I would have waited to see what it was going to do. But since it couldn't make it and it held, I went long. This time, I'm only at around a 10-cent risk, when before I was at about, I would have been at a 30 or a 40-cent risk. So this is a much tighter risk, so you can take more shares at this point. And then I got a real nice pop up to VWAP, partials, took partials up to 44.50 again. All right, and then this time I got the break I was looking for all the way up through $45. So in just a couple of minutes, I've already enjoyed going from $43.50 up to really $45.50. I'm just already down to about 10% of my position, and I really think DKS might have a real strong day. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm just holding on to my position. I want to see if DKS can run. If it gets all the way up to 47 or 48, I'll probably go ahead and sell off the remainder of my position. But right now, I really want to hold and see what's going to happen, because it really looks like it could be an all-day runner, and there's nothing worse than getting out on an all-day runner. I'll probably stop. You can see we have this VWAP is now at 44, call it 50. So I'll probably move my stop order for the loss of VWAP. That way, worst case scenario, my last remaining shares will still stop out, and I'll still have a nice 60 to 70 cent move on those remaining shares. So I hope everyone enjoyed my little trade on DKS. As you can see, we're still moving up and up. So this is definitely one way to manage your risk in the morning and to help yourself get into a nice position so you can really capitalize. And when you get into a mover, you can really enjoy running that position out. I hope you're all having a great day. I hope you're staying green. Thanks.